Fortunately, my arm took a hit from it, so I'm going to have to call it a day and just get into the booth and eat a couple Iowa chops here and have a few Busch Lights while I'm at it. So, but we'll be here nonetheless to show you the action, all the drivers on display here tonight, as Daz in that number 18 will bring it on to the track. Dirt GBX running that number 15 machine, the winner from last week's road course challenge. 61 machine. T. Jangles getting in that 51 machine, and Young RCN rounding out the field with the number 1. We'll get with you here in just a moment on qualifying times. Tonight's race will be a doozy here, folks. This is a bit of a long one. You got a fuel run at 36 laps for the drivers to run off of in the stages. The first stage will be about 29 laps in total. Stage 2, 31 laps, with the final coming to be a 67 lap ordeal. The full race being 125 laps. That final stage is going to be crucial for these drivers, because even if you try to run out the entire race, it's going to be difficult to really figure out when's the right time to pass and when's the right time to pit, because of the fact that you're going to have not much of a breathing room to pit early or too late. So they'll have to play their cards right and make their moves here tonight on this very, very fast track, the shortest fast track in the world. It is, well, the fastest short track in the world. I apologize. I live here in Iowa. How do I not know that? The fastest short track here, and it is located here at Newton, Iowa, for Iowa Speedway. This is one of the fastest, best tracks in the world and in the game, in my opinion. Even running here on the NASCAR Heat 4 series on the PS4 edition, these guys have been absolute terror on the track every time they come out here. We've seen some great moments and some great highlights over the years, and now we're going to bring it to you live here for the big one, as 10 of the best will go at it to try and claim the final 4 spots going in to the championship race next week at Homestead, Miami. We're waiting for the call here real quick to get into the show. We're going to give you just a little bit of time here, folks. Get everybody all settled in, ready to go. Racket stack and all that. Can't wait to see how this one's going to go down here tonight. So, you guys pick your favorites, pick your numbers. Pick your favorites, pick your numbers, and we're going to see who's going to take this one home tonight. All right. We've got the queue. We're heading into the pit. We're heading down into the pits. Let's go find out how these drivers hold out on this track. And I take it back. We have 9 drivers tonight, not 10 drivers, unfortunately. So points can be that much more crucial, and the race can be that much more important to win. This is going to be an interesting one, to say the least, here. So here we go. We're getting everything down on the track and ready to go. Man, I can tell you right now, man, there's a lot of heavy hitters in this one. A lot of good drivers. I look for Dirt to be a fast competitor after what he did in Watkins Glen. The Throttle, could she be the only driver this season to be able to do the triplicates? Go back to back to back. The 3-peat salutes, or whatever you want to call it. That is going to be seen right here, right now, as we get down to the track. Dirt GBX, I said it before, he will take the lead early on. He's got the fastest lap. Follows the throttle, will follow right behind him as green flag flies high in the air. Young RCN, that number 1, going to give a little bit of a push to Dirt as follows the throttle, gets a little bit more of a grip off the high line, but Dirt getting it back off the bottom here. Side by side down the front, down the back straightaway here early on. Pottles the throttle, looking strong, but here comes Dirt GBX, number 15, getting that bottom line to work a little bit more than the high line. And a little bit of a rub from Young RCN doesn't hurt too much. Here they come down turn 1 into 2. This is where the sliders begin to come out and show on this track. And if there's one thing, we've said it here before on the series, is that when you run Iowa, expect the sliders. The bottom to the top to the bottom. Expect them. They will come, and when they do come, oh boy, that is some thrilling racing to see. As Pottles the throttle early on, taking the early lead from Dirt GBX. She has had very much experience on this track and has a lot of good luck in Iowa. A fast competitor in her own right. She's managed to hold out quite a bit this season. Now she just needs a good race here. You can get a good look on board camera. The 1 domestic test car as well. Seen there just a minute ago. She's running up in the P4 position. Sparkalicious in that number 61, following right behind. Good to see my fellow comrades and colleagues from the booth down there. number 18 of Dad is going to do battle T Jangles, number 51, and the number 2. Oh, we got big problems down there in turn 2. I'm not sure what the catalyst was there, but it looks like Dirt GBX got loose and it spun out. So Dirt will have a hard time catching back up, but it is only stage 1. He's got time to make that up, but my goodness, folks, I am not sure what happened there. I was keeping an eye on the battle in the back here for 6th place, excuse me, and that just happened out of nowhere. Rowdy Silver's in that number 2, overtaking T Jangles out of the straightaway. But here comes T Jangles down the bottom, trying to pull the slider. Can he get it early? He's going to try to make it work down on that bottom line there. Not quite able to bring it back up quick enough, as Rowdy will now overtake him to that 6th spot. The battle still for 5th here, as Daz and number 18 does not exactly have a lot of room to mess up, because he's got T Jangles in the number 51 and the number 2 of Rowdy right behind him in that battle for 6th. Good look for the battle for 5th, as here comes Rowdy in that number 2, getting a bit of a good grip off that run there. Still not quite enough to catch up there. So you can see early on these guys and gals just putting everything they got on the first stage, but they will have to be careful because they can't overdo it any part of this race. As you've seen where Dirt GBX was there, he ended up losing it out of that turn. Look at this battle for 2nd. Young RCN, the number 1, going to do battle with the number 23 of One McCarthy. The one don't mess with Texas. McCarthy arriving in my home state. She is trying to show up the boys and show them why the girls rule this town. And right now she's doing just that, overtaking Young RCN, the number 1, for 2nd. Let's get a little bit of an onboard camera here. Let's show you how to hit this track and where to hit your marks at. So if you're running this track right about there where you see that white line, that's where you're going to see a lot of these drivers back off the throttle, either take it low or take it in the high lane, and that's where their cutoff speed will be, where they're going to run it harder. That's where you need to accelerate, right as you're halfway past that spot. Here comes the brake. Younger is a little bit loose off that. You got to be careful. You can't overdrive that turn. That's the turn. I guarantee a lot of people overdrive because it's not like 1 and 2 where you have more room for give. 3 and 4, it's almost like a 90-degree switcheroo to 1 and 2. You have to make that turn perfect, so you have a really specific let-off point right about where you hit that red line of the wall there. That's where you want to really hit that spot, and Young RCN just did, as he is now battling number 23 of One McCarthy for 2nd. We go back in the back here, still a bit of a battle here. It looks like that is for 6th spot, as T Jangles, that number 51, going at it with Daz, that number 18 machine. Trying to see what will stick and what won't. But oh, a little bit of contact there from Daz, that number 18, to T Jangles. A little bit of rubbing racing in Iowa. It's a short track, so you best expect it. It's going to come. As Daz goes down low to from high to low, he pulls the slider and gets himself another position. But T Jangles says, I am not like those White Castles, sir. You are going to come back here and serve me some good White Castles. Here comes T Jangles now, trying to go side by side down the back straightaway there, trying to overtake Daz for that 6th spot. Down low, then number 51, T Jangles, beautiful maneuver there off of Daz, and he will overtake Daz for 6th. So the battle in the back and a battle up front. But right now, Paul's the throttle, continuing to rain down supreme on the other drivers. Are right behind her. The one, don't mess with Texas McCarthy. The 2 ladies in the field, absolutely killing it right now with the competition. And I'd say right now, those 2 ladies combined, they have got about a second, maybe about a half a second's lead over Young RCN as it looks to continue to grow. So Young RCN may have a better long run setup, but is that going to be necessarily worth it later on? Because right now, Positive Throttle and One McCarthy absolutely tearing it up out there in terms of positioning and how far they're getting around. Looks like T Jangles, number 51, might have had some troubles there, or Daz, I should say, excuse me. Looks like he got put back a little bit as the number 8, as the number 615, excuse me, of Dirt GBX. Finally kind of making his way around, but he's got going to be lap traffic here in just a minute if he ain't careful. We go into the comment section here in a little bit, folks. We're now at lap 15 of 29, so we're just halfway in to this stage 1 race here. In the comment section, Nick, hi buddy, how you doing? Good old JR, it's good to see you, my friend. Hope you're enjoying the commentary, and hope we enjoy you racing with you each and every week out, man. It's good to have you on there. Alright, back to the race now, guys, as we get back onto the track here. And I apologize for that little black screen there. I hate it when they do that. But nonetheless, we are currently now 16 down and about 15 to go. Or 14 to go, excuse me. As it looks like Paul's throttle a little bit loose off the back stretch there. She ended up getting loose out of turn 2, and now one, don't mess with Texas McCarthy, trying to give her a little bit of a bumper, but that didn't seem to work out of 3 and 4. PTM now will regain and retain the lead of her times wise. And you can just see right here, guys, how close these guys are getting to that apron. That's the thing with this track. The closer you are to that yellow apron on both turns, we'll show you right now with Young RCN. Watch how smooth he is in that turn. Backs off, a little bit of a on shift there, accelerate back in, and there you go. That's how you run the short track. Oh, I should say up front right now, one, don't mess with Texas McCarthy has now got a battle for the lead. Paul's the throttle. She has been overtaken by the one, don't mess with Texas. She now has taken it from her. I believe that was out of turn 2. I don't know what happened there with Paul's, but it looks like maybe she got a hit loose and McCarthy made her pay for it. I'll tell you right now, guys, if there's one driver I think you got to keep an eye out next season is McCarthy, because she's looking dead fast and strong each and every time out. She has said before she's very interested in joining the Cup Series, but right now she's, whoa, wait a minute, a little bit of trouble there for McCarthy. I'm not sure why she slowed down so much. I was just going to say she's looking in to get into the Cup Series next season. We can't wait to have her there, and hopefully, all things can go well. We'll see how the teams do there, but nonetheless, right now, so far, she is giving it everything she's got with Paul's throttle right up on the high line there, making it stick. That is almost a complete glue to the wall there of a run for PTM. Well done on her end. As you can see, we have a little bit of a run here. Sparkalicious slowly but maintaining his grip and trying to get back up to Young RCN. The number 61 Toyota machine trying to put that Camry up ahead and trying to get around number 1 Camaro of Young RCN. I believe that's a Camaro. Yeah, it's a Camaro. I'm only saying that because last night I ended up getting confused with a few car models, so don't hate me on that, guys. Nonetheless, back to the races, and look at this. Bit of a battle back now. Young RCN has been caught up by Sparkalicious. Sparkalicious, number 61, trying to overtake the number 1 of Young RCN. Out of turn 2, here comes Sparkalicious, trying to make it work on that high line, trying to get something to work. Here they come out of 3, into 4. And it looks like the high line is going to be a little bit more. Sparkalicious manages to stay up there. Young RCN trying to keep it low and keep the momentum, but that might not be enough if you're not getting back up there out of turn 3 and 4. There they come now down in turn 2. Sparkalicious and the number 1 of Young RCN doing battle here with the position 3 up for grabs. Third place, a crucial moment because these guys are getting closer and closer to the end of points. And look at this run here, folks, side by side, still no one giving an inch except for Young RCN there. He just let it off there, but maybe not. He backed off and tried to get more of a push off that exit. It didn't work this time. Sparkalicious will overtake for third. Meanwhile, up front, still battle for first. One, don't mess with Texas McCarthy, trying everything she can to get around PTM the throttle. But the thing is, there's only 4 laps remaining in this one for stage 1, and those crucial points for PTM could make the difference in getting into the top 4 and be the only driver, I believe, in PTM history to make 3 consecutive series championships. But right now, she's going to have to figure her way out around McCarthy. McCarthy pulls it up closer. Side by side, a little bit of a contact there out of the front straightaway. Both drivers maintain line, maintain balance. It's a drag race to the end here, folks. Here they come. 2, 3 to go in this one. McCarthy overtakes PTM. The sliders have been thrown. The White Castles are out. I don't think PTM found them very delicious, but McCarthy found the sweet spot to those. But here comes PTM the throttle now, trying to make her pay. That was literally 0.02 of a second, the difference at the finish line there. Holy smokes, we've only got a few left in this one. 2 to go now. PTM the throttle now on the back straightaway. She's going to have the run, but they're in lap traffic now. This could be a problem. PTM the throttle trying to take the high line and stay out of the way of G3. G3 going down low, getting out of the way for one McCarthy, but it's too late. Paul's the throttle now. Will overtake McCarthy for first. But now they're running into Dirt GBX, that number 15 machine, the fastest qualifier. Unfortunately, had a tough break early and got into a little bit of a wreck, but he managed to figure it out. Now he's going to have to figure out how to get back from a lap down. But right now, coming out of 3 and 4, McCarthy will finish second to Paul the Throttle, taking home the stage win. Crucial points for her. And coming up on the rear, that is Sparkalicious finishing third, Young Garcian fourth, T-Jangles finishing fifth. So a good showing from him early on. He has not had a good season on the counter of where he's positioned at, but he's looking to change that. Rowdy Stiller's had a great season in Cup to start when he went and put that U.S. Air Force afterburner number 43 at Talladega by 0.006 of a second, just shy of overtaking Archon, that old rattlesnake. But unfortunately, since then, he hasn't really found much luck. G3 still kind of finding his way around the tracks as well and figuring out everything. And then, of course, third GBX season winner, or series winner last week as he ran in Watkins Glen. Ended up having a little bit of a bad break here right early on with that spin out, but again, it is early, so he can make up for that and go back to figuring out how to get everything done there. All right, we're going to get back, re-rack, restack, and here we go, folks. So Dirt will start in the back, trying to get around all that. 9 cars in this field. That's Paul's the Throttle, shows them the way. And it's green flag high in the air in Iowa. Stage 2 has begun. And here we go, Paul's the Throttle early on, taking the bottom line. McCarthy going to try to get that run off the high line, getting a little bit of help from Young Garcian and number 2 of Rowdy. I'm not sure how much help that's going to give them, but they're going to try and make it work. Now McCarthy going to the bottom, getting away from Young Garcian, going to work with Sparkalicious there. But the run seems to be for Young Garcian on that high line. He's got a good push out of 4. Here comes that slider down the bottom, trying to make it work. Makes it stick. Oh, but no, maybe not. He didn't quite get it to stick. He went too hard into the turn, and it ended up costing him there. Tough break for Young early on, but he's got time to work with that. But he's got Sparkalicious now in the back, trying to fight him off. He's in battle for third here, and Young Garcian is in the wall at turn 4. Sparkalicious now with a run, going to come down the front straightaway. Down into turn 1 and 2, Sparkalicious and that number 61 Toyota Camry pushing everything he's got for what it's worth to get up there. Oh, and Young Garcian loose out of turn 2. You saw it on the camera. He got loose in the rear, and it just spun out like it was nobody's business. Oh my goodness, and the flagman not calling a caution on that one. Thankfully, it doesn't look like any driver was affected in that one, but you gotta believe there is a little bit of frustration inside that cockpit with the flagman and his car. That is an absolute heartbreaker for Young Garcian. He is in the points race and he's battling it out, trying to get into that final 4, and that's not going to make it easy on him. There is only so many spots you can miss before you're out. And right now, the one Don't Mess with Texas McCarthy knows just that. She's currently, I believe, out of the points race. Can't quite get in this time around, but don't count her out in the next season when we get into the Cup and Xfinity Series for her. But right now, she's currently trying to find a way around Paul's Throttle, coming out of turn 4. They had a great battle at the end there, so expect something close to it later. And look at this, up in the rear, battle for third and 5th. It's Sparkalicious in that number 61 and Rowdy in that number 2 battling for third. But right behind them for 5th is Dirt GBX and T-Jangles driving that 51 and the 15 respectively. Right now they are going at it and trying to find anything that will work and anything that will stick. The thing is though, is you don't want to battle too much on this track because it will slow you down. And right now, T-Jangles doesn't care. He's just trying to prove he can race with these guys, and he's doing a great job of just that. But their GBX seems to have a pretty good run. Down the back straightaway, though, it's T-Jangles with the more of a run there. Looks like he's going to try to take that high line and make it stick. Takes it up to the wall, down a high. Oh, a little too hard out of exit, and he goes into the wall, scrapes it a little bit. A little bit of a wall bang there, if you will, but he manages to hold out and stay strong to the turn. Now bringing it back down into turn 2, holds off, but look at this up front. We've got a battle for the lead yet again. These two, the ladies of PTM, one Don't Mess with Texas McCarthy, and PTM of Throttle, doing war with one another at Iowa Short Track. This is a good one here, folks. Battle for first early on, side by side. McCarthy looks like she's getting a little bit more of a run on the bottom. This is the PTM overhead cam, and you can just see the difference it is when going down low to up high. These guys are neck and neck. Here they come to the finish line here. Let's see how this one plays out. Looks like McCarthy's going to get a better run off of that one. So now Paul the Throttle will have time to make up, currently on lap 10 of 27. So it is early, but this could be bad. If you burn those tires up too quick, you can't overdrive this track. You'll burn your car up and you will lose time. That's the big thing. That's the big picture. You cannot overdo those turns. And right now, Paul's the Throttle looks like maybe she got a little loose off exit, didn't quite get it to save. One Don't Mess with Texas McCarthy will get a bigger lead off of her for that. And look at this back here in the back. The battle for fourth, rages on, and actually fifth in this case. Sparkalicious at number 61 having to go to war with T Jangles in that number 51 machine, while Dirt GBX just trying to find a way around the likes of Rowdy Hot Rod Rowdy in that number 2 machine. So right now, trying their best to figure out what's the better line and what's the better move, but T Jangles, I would say honestly, he's not quite getting that opening that Sparkalicious is wanting to get. So can he figure out a way around that? Oh, as I say that, he's going to take it down low. He saw an opening, trying to make it stick and get around Sparkalicious. Can he get the run off exit? Looks like Sparky's got a little bit more speed off exit though, and that's going to cost him a little bit more than T Jangles in this case. Oh, and as I say that, let's turn on a Christmas tune, because T Jangles has just made a big move off of turn 2, looking at turn 3 for the big run. Can he get the car to stick? It doesn't look like he's going to do it this time, but he's still right there with him. Now Sparkalicious is trying to get a bit of a lead off him, maybe trying to get T Jangles to burn the tires up a little more, so that way he has time to work around that. Smart thinking and smart driving on the flakes of Sparkalicious to try to outmaneuver T Jangles and also outwear his car. That is smart driving. That is strategic driving. Because the thing is, if you burn that car up too much, you'll do what Young RCN did earlier and get too loose off the exit and lose it in the turn. But right now, as we get back to the leaders here, PTM the Throttle, and it's still trying to get that Chevrolet Camaro number 5 machine, trying to get up there a little more, try to outrun that number 23 Chevrolet Camaro of the one Don't Mess with Texas McCarthy, as she continues to push on and lead harder into this race. Man, folks, if you ain't watching this live right now, or you're just now watching it in the chat, thanks again for tuning in with us and watching with us as well. Appreciate all the love and support, but right now you're definitely missing a good race if you ain't watching this right now, as these guys just trying to find everything they can in any way they can around one another and around that spot. And as I say that, look up front. We got a battle for third here. As my mic went out there, my producer is now telling me Dirt GBX finally made that slider. Thanks for the reminder, guys. But Dirt GBX now putting that number 15 Chevrolet Camaro ahead of the number 2 Chevrolet of Hot Rod Rowdy. So that old Rowdy is going to have to figure out a way to get back around Dirt GBX. But Dirt right now looking extremely strong, as we just now passed lap 18 of 27. So we've just got 10 to go here. Dirt now overtaking for third. He's trying to get his way back up to the front. He's got a fast car, that's for sure, but does he have something that's strong enough to work with PTM and McCarthy later if he has to? Because early on in stage 1, he had that incident. We're not sure how fast he can really run that piece of machinery. But right now, if I could say anything from what he's doing with Rowdy and Sparkalicious, he's working his way from the back to the front. Or as we like to say, from the outhouse to the White House. Back up front here now, we get back up to the leaders here. Oh, wait a minute. Got a bit of a battle going on in the rear here, as the number 2, Rowdy Silvers, has been caught up by the number 61 of Sparkalicious. Might be getting loose off of those turns, and Rowdy knows that he's getting a little bit slower and slower each turn, so he must be losing control. Yep, you can see it right there, getting really loose off of the exit, and that's going to cost him big time. Here comes T Jangles And that number 51 machine trying to get it to stick and find another line, find another gear, if you will. Trying to catch around Rowdy Silver's that number 2 machine. What a win, what a victory this would be for T. Jangles if he can find a way up to the front and up to the pack. I'd say next season, folks, keep an eye on him. He might be something down the road if he can put it together sometime. But right now, the battles are raging on, and still the battle for third has now caught up with Sparkalicious and Dirt GBX. So Dirt not quite running away with this one just yet. It's Piles of Throttle now also getting passed up a little bit by the one Don't Mess with Texas McCarthy. And she is currently only 6 laps left to go. These guys just giving everything they got, trying to find a way around one another. But Piles of Throttle, you can take a look on the leader, on the car of her hood. That's the difference in how fast McCarthy, or how much time McCarthy is away from her. I'd say that's easily about a 3/4 to a second faster than PTMs. So the one Don't Mess with Texas showing in Iowa what the Feminist Fatale is all about. She is pushing everything she's got. Young RCN also getting a little bit in trouble here early. You see he got spun out in that turn 2 right there. It looks like he got everything fixed up and ready to go back for another run there, or at least that's what he's thinking anyway. But here on the fastest short track in the world, you gotta be a little bit careful of spinning out at any time, because if that flag don't come out, you're gonna get lapped eventually. And that's what the one Don't Mess with Texas McCarthy and Piles of Throttle are getting inches away from doing. G3 also was a lap down, so he really does not need the likes of Young RCN to be lapped in this case, because that would be trouble for him to get around all that for later. As we see up front now, the battle for third, Sparkalicious, number 61, trying to get that old Toyota Camry around that Chevrolet Camaro of the number 15 machine of Dirt GBX. That Flex Seal machine just trying to put everything he's got to the limits and the tests. And you can see my colleague and partners just doing battle, and as much as I love talking with them, I'd say right now I'd love seeing them race a little bit more. Right now, folks, we are coming down to the last 2 laps here as they're coming down the wire. And Daz, whoa, looks like Daz out of turn 1 into 2 got a little bit loose and straight down on the bottom there. I'm not sure what the catalyst was there on his part, but he had a little bit of a spin there. Piles of Throttle, we can't quite go back and show you the replay, but she got a little bit up into the wall there, actually out of turn. As I say that, she got down on the bottom. She is spun out in the backstretch. That's going to be big problems for her. Dirt GBX is going to overtake her for that one, as well as Rowdy and T. Jangles. That's going to be big problems for her. She's going to have to figure out a way to get back into this later on as the checkered flag flies high in the air to end stage 2. Holy smokes, what a turn of events we just saw there, folks. Oh my goodness. That's coming across the line as well, and I believe that is the end of everyone else there. Young RCN, looks like he will finish out as well. There we go. So now, oh my goodness, folks, this could be big trouble for some of these guys, because some of them just got put in the back in the spot they didn't want to be. We saw earlier with Dirt GBX, he got loose off exit, and it cost him. We saw Young RCN get loose off exit. It cost him. And this time, Piles of Throttle, despite running a really strong first stage, that second stage she got extremely loose, and something just gave out in that car. But now she looks to hopefully get back up to the front like Dirt GBX did and make a way around the track. But the good news is she's not too far down. She will be put into this. She finished 6th, where McCarthy was 1st, Dirt GBX 2nd, so she'll have a little bit of war with him depending on how the pit stop goes here. Sparkalicious is getting the 3rd spot, and Rowdy Silver's in 4th, T. Jangles in 5th to round out that spot there in the top 5. And we're going to go up front and take a look at where these guys are going to start. So on row 1, it's going to be one McCarthy and Dirt GBX doing battle. Green flag high in the air one more time for the Dirt Tracking Courtesy Chrysler and Jeep Xfinity race here at Iowa Speedway. Early on now, one Don't Mess with Texas McCarthy looking to get a strong lead and a strong start. She was strong in the trucks before the motor blow last couple weeks ago. Now she looks to make it work here in this series, the Xfinity series, and get redemption for that blown motor. Right now she's doing a great job of that as all drivers remain clean and keeping it stable. But look at this, 3 wide out of turn 2. The old sliders are coming back. and Sparkalicious and Pottles the Throttle and Young RCN involved in that one, but it was a better run for Pottles the Throttle as she took the high line and sent it straight through and said, "See you later, boys." Right now, she has the run and a good spot in third place, overtaking Rowdy in the number 2. Young RCN now, he looks to give it a battle and a twirl against Rowdy. Sparkalicious as well, trying to get in there. These guys have to be careful, though. You don't want to make a mistake early, and you don't want to overdo it. But at the same time, you want to get up in the point spots. You want to get up higher there. You don't want to just put your car in the lower half and not be able to regain it. And right now, you can see just exactly why they're doing that. As you take a look here, Rowdy said we're going to go on board here with that old hot rod and see how he's putting that team, the Beast Chevrolet, up against in 4th place right now, trying to find a way around Pottles the Throttle as she overtakes him earlier. And Pottles the Throttle up on the high bank. She got loose. She saves it though out of turn 4. But here comes Young RCN, that number 1 machine. Young RCN trying to make the slider work. He does it. Rowdy loose off the middle, and that's going to cost him there. But up front, here's the battle for first. Dirt GBX from the outhouse to the White House. He has made his way up into half. McCarthy on the wall out of turn 4. Dirt GBX with a run out of the front straightaway. It's going to be Dirt GBX overtaking the one Don't Mess with Texas McCarthy for first place, as Young RCN and Pottles the Throttle are doing battle for third. Holy smokes, folks! That was an incredible move there from Dirt GBX, and a great save by Warren McCarthy to try and get that car back into it. Look at this, side by side down the front straightaway. Pottles the Throttle had a little bit more of a run, puts that rear bumper to the front of Young RCN, says, "How does my rear feel?" Well, maybe not so much now. She's loose off of turn 2. She saves that one, but she is extremely loose off of that turn right there, and that's going to cost her big time. Going to get put back in the pack a little bit, but remember, these guys have to pit, so that's going to be a big game changer down the road in where they pit and how they pit. But right now, early on, the battle's still up, as we are on lap 71 of 125, so we just got under, I believe that is a 46 lap deficit, or 45 lap deficit, excuse me, or 55 lap, excuse me. Okay, now 54, but here comes one Don't Mess with Texas McCarthy, and their GBX trying to find a way around him, as number 23 of McCarthy trying to see how she can put that Camaro up ahead of that other Camaro. These two have been going at it harder and harder each and every time out, and Dirt, ever since he finally came back into the Xfinity Series, has looked strong. He's been a strong competitor and a strong racer. It'd be interesting to see how he runs next season when he does run with us in the Xfinity Series here on Tuesday nights. But nonetheless, right now, he's got some ground to work and ground to do. As the one Don't Mess with Texas McCarthy over and out right now in second, but Pottles the Throttle, I'm not sure what's going on with her, but she is side by side with Sparkalicious, but looks all over the place. Gets a little loose out of the back stretch. That's not a good sign there. So a big problem out of turn 3 and 4 they're going to have to figure out. But nonetheless, Sparkalicious, number 61 now, trying to do battle and make his way back up to the front, as Sparkalicious now will have the eye of behold to see T Jingle Jangle Jangles and that 51 doing a little bit of a battle here with Pottles and that number 5 machine. And out of the front straightaway there, Pottles will overtake for, I believe that is 5th currently. Take a look in the back here. We can take a look. Yep, that is indeed for 5th. So she now has overtaken to the top 5. But the battle right now, currently, I would say, is right up front, as McCarthy just trying to find the time and find the line to work it in with Dirt GBX. Dirt GBX, if he gives up anything in those turns and makes one slight mistake on this track, it'll send you swinging and send you loose. And when you get that happen, that's when those sliders come out. And that's where McCarthy has been well known for on this track, to maintain and overtake somebody. So we'll see if that's going to be the case here. But right now, Dirt is not giving her an inch whatsoever. Well, we're going to take it to a quick commercial break here real quick and have a word from our sponsors. Pedal to the Metal Racing League has been sponsored in part by Dirt Tracking for your mobile Android iOS devices. If you're looking for the best dirt track racing game on the market, be sure to check out Dirt Tracking and Dirt Tracking 2 for mobile Android iOS devices. Dirt Tracking is a free-to-play, modified and midget 303, 305 Sprint Car Series racing game on the mobile Android and iOS device markets. Be sure to check that out, as well as Dirt Tracking 2, which is the late model versions, and stock car version, also for Android and iOS devices. If you're looking for a good time on the track and you just can't run with us, but you want to still have some fun, be sure to check out Dirt Tracking for your mobile Android and iOS devices. Also, very special thank you to the dealership out of Cokesville, Pennsylvania. That is, we're always talking about courtesy Chrysler AMG. Thank you so much for sponsoring us. If you are looking for the best dealership in Pennsylvania, be sure to look up Cokesville's own courtesy Chrysler AMG for a new hot rod and all that today. Back to the race now as we get back in the pack here. Looks like we got a bit of a battle with Daz in number 18 trying to make his way back up with T Jingles in that number, or excuse me, Sparkalicious in that number 61. T Jingles up ahead of Sparkalicious there. Battle for 6th or 7th, I believe, right now. So Daz in the 7th spot trying to get around number 61 at Sparkalicious. The battle right now also up front still with Dirt GBX trying to hold off everything he's got. We are getting down to the later half of this race though, folks, as we just passed by for lap 81 of 125. So we are coming up on the tail end of when you must pit unless the caution comes out. But right now, I'm not seeing any time where these guys are going to get that caution unless there's a big spin out and a couple wrecks. This could be trouble for some of these guys. But nonetheless, so far, Dirt GBX maintaining line. But here comes the one. Don't mess with Texas McCarthy. You see that run right there, folks. Look at the difference. Halfway inside. She's taking the bottom. She's going to overtake Dirt GBX down the bottom here. Coming down the turn 3, going into 4. Dirt trying to get the high line to run. If you hit it just right, it'll give you more of a push, but he overtook it almost into the wall. And for the one, don't mess with Texas McCarthy, will put that 23 Chevrolet up in the lead yet again. How often have we said that here today, folks? Whoa, indeed, here we go, folks. Still the battle raging on. Dirt GBX made a slight error and a mistake, but will McCarthy make that same mistake and error? Right now, she's doing a great job of finding the line and holding it. Let's take a look at where she's hitting her mark at. Just look at how tight she is on that yellow line. She's not giving an inch. One slight move left or right, and that car is going swinging. Look at this right here. Outside, looking in, down the bottom, angle it in, bring it back up to the top, and make it stick. That right there, folks, is how you run Iowa Speedway from the high line to the bottom. But that high line is also good to run if you were to need it. The only difference, though, is what Dirt GBX was trying to do earlier, is that the thing is when you come out of that turn, if you're slightly off on how you accelerate in and out, that is troublesome, because the thing is there's a spot down there where you're over-rotating and the car will either over or under, meaning oversteer or understeer out of the turn's exit, and that will either send you loose or it's going to tighten you up and go up high into the wall. And that's not where you want to be on this track, because one slight touch to that wall, and that could be the difference between a race being a win and the race just being done and over with. As we get down now to the final closing laps here of the race here, we're getting closer and closer to the pits time. Piles of Throttle now in 4th currently. Dirt GBX in 2nd with one Don't Mess with Texas McCarthy right in front for 1st, as Young RCN now in 3rd place. I actually get his way around, but here comes Piles of Throttle now in that number 5 machine. That number 5 Chevrolet machine trying to overtake the number 1 Chevrolet machine of Young RCN. They're trying to put that big old TMC Chevy into the victory lane spot, or at least into the podium. But as I say that, a little bit loose off a turn 2, touches the bottom line there and loses some ground. Here comes Piles of Throttle now, down low, looking for the slider, and it's gonna come. Young RCN couldn't quite get it to stick from the bottom as well as Piles did. Piles overtakes for 3rd. So now, as time is winding away, time is getting down here, that's crucial here, because you can see the difference in the lap counter and time counter. Piles is about maybe 1.5, 2 seconds away from Dirt GBX and one domestic Texas McCarthy. Actually, I take that back. That's about 2.5, almost 3 seconds. That's the difference between McCarthy and Dirt is about, I'd say, half a second. as McCarthy continuing to grow the lead and continuing to get farther and farther away from these guys. We're down to the last 35 of this one, or 36, excuse me. Now 35 out of turn 4 for McCarthy. So these guys are going to have a lot of ground and a lot of work to do. But the thing is, that pit is going to be huge. So we're waiting for when they're going to start pitting. If I remember right, there's only about a 36 lap counter in the fuel run. So right about now, there's a few of them that need to start thinking about pitting, if not play before then. But Sparkalicious, that number 61, now will have to do battle for 7th place with Daz and the number 18. I'm wondering if Sparkalicious is trying to possibly save the fuel and do a longer run. If that's the case, smart thinking for possibly a big chance at a caution, but I don't think it's going to be strong enough to overtake some of the other drivers, as Paul's Throttle has been showing she's just too fast for that, as well as Dirt GDX and the one domestic Texas McCarthy. As you see, Daz, now number 18, making the pass around the 61 Sparkalicious. Now the slider's going to come up and see if Sparky's going to do it here. No, he will not. It looks like Daz is going to take it as the number 51 of Team Jingle Jangle Jangles, singing that old Christmas tune, will go into the pits. Dirt GDX and PTMs, as well as the one domestic Texas McCarthy, Young RCN staying out. But I can guarantee it right now, folks, these guys are getting closer and closer to that time they need to start thinking about pitting. Some of them may have then just burned their tires up too much, and that's what T. Jingles did right there. As he is now coming out of the pits, we're getting word right now. And Sparkalicious will go into the pits as well. Or T. Jingles not currently out of the pits yet. He's currently working on that. The crew getting all the tires and stuff set up there. Look at this here. G3's just kind of working his way out. I would say he's just like, oh, what's that old video game? He's just playing Cruising USA. He's just relaxing, having a good time. The only difference is he's not having flames in the back of his car, and he's not trying to run through traffic like it's nothing. Oh wait, that's Grand Theft Auto. Never mind. Back to the race. So Powell's the Throttle and Dirt GBX are going in the pits. Dirt's in there first, so Powell's will be 1 lap ahead in that scenario. That might be the difference there, as Younger CN now has also pitted. Whoa, easy there, guys. I know the game is supposed to be more realistic than that, but man, that was a little bit hard even for Young RCN, as he just slammed straight into the back of the one domestic Texas McCarthy. Doesn't seem to phase her though. Here she comes out of the pits and back onto the track. She looks like she's going to get that lead back. Or no, excuse me. Dirt GBX actually got a run off that sheet. He has overtaken for the lead. As Sparkalicious, well, no, let me phrase that. Overtaken for second. Sparkalicious, the only driver I believe that's still out on the track. Yes, besides G3, I think, and now G3 going into the pits. Sparkalicious right now is your race leader. The 61 machine coming out of turn 3 into 4. He's going to try and make that car last as long as he can. He's really going to hope and pray that that works in his favor. But I can tell you right now, if he does not get a good pit stop and possibly even just take 2 tires and some fuel, that honestly will not make much of a difference, because Dirt GDX is catching up as the number 51, T. Jingle Jangle Jangles, now making around the number 2 of Rowdy, as he has a little bit of a battle there. And Powell's the Throttle right ahead of her, trying to figure out who is where right now. We're currently figuring that out. G3 now in the pits. Young RCN, that number 1, looks like he has 4th currently, and Powell's Throttle 5th. And right now in the back, that is also a bit of a battle, if you will, for 6, as Rowdy in the number 2 and T. Jingle Jangle Jangles in that 51 going to war right now with one another for 6th. Side by side down the front straightaway now into turn 1, coming out of turn 2. Whoa, wait a minute, big problems up on the side there. Big problems indeed. Might cut out right there, folks. And the producers just told me we will have a manual caution off of that one. 3 cars involved in that one. Number 5, Apollo Throttle, and the number 1 of Young RCN just got overtaken and hit hard there. And it looks like, no, we're not having a manual. They're going to let him go. I am not sure what the catalyst was there, folks, or what happened, but the caution did not come out. Oh, wait a minute. Now it looks like they're slowing down. Yes, they will be slowing, or possibly no. Currently trying to figure out what they're going on down there. No one seems to have called the caution, and no one in the booth has said anything. producers, I'm not sure what you guys are feeding me for information, but right now these guys are not slowing down. As a few drivers are going to head to the back. My goodness, I'm not even sure what happened there, folks. And finally now, looks like there is going to be a caution. Dirt GBX has slowing up. So has one, Don't Mess with Texas McCarthy. Sparkalicious also slowing up. Looks like he's just trying to make his way back around and get around to the other drivers here. So it looks like they will indeed call the caution and get the manual restart on that one. For those wondering at home, the manual restart is when the people in our booth here call for the caution to come out, so that way we can get a manual start for the drivers that fell victim to that crash. As you can see right there in the back, everyone making their way around, trying to get their lap back because the caution was not called at a certain time. And these guys miscommunicated there in that big way, and that's going to cost them. But nonetheless, I'll tell you right now, that's a huge break for Dirt DVX and the one Don't Mess with Texas McCarthy. And I hate to say it, but that's a really hard break for Sparkalicious, as he was pretty much still in the lead there with that run there. I was hoping and praying maybe he can make it last. It didn't quite go that way there, but there goes Piles the throttle now, going to get around, and that will let her into the pits there. So these guys look like they're going to all take a pit stop, maybe to get fresh tires and fresh gas. I wouldn't blame them if they did. G3 now also making his way around. Looks like he's just going to keep going here a little bit. So let's go ahead and we'll give another special thank you to our sponsors real quick. Dirt Tracking for mobile, Android, and iOS devices, as well as Courtesy Chrysler AMG back at Coatesville, Pennsylvania. Guys, thanks so much for supporting us this season and tuning in each and every week to help us out. Thanks again to everybody that tunes in on Facebook at Pedal Metal Racing League, as well as Twitter. Follow us at LeaguePTM, and also be sure to like, share, and subscribe here on YouTube. We promise you down the road there will be much more exciting, action-packed adventures to come as we venture off into iRacing in due time in July. We're currently looking into NASCAR Heat 5 as well. We will be running some series there. And we also will be having our old Wreckfest, the PTM, the Banger series, not live stream, but it is via our racing league for Facebook. And also, so be sure to check us out there if you're interested in joining. And right now, guys, everyone has offered to pit, so they are joined in. All right, coming out of the pits, Dirt GBX gets the run. Young RCN looks like he's going to get a horrible run out of that. I'm not sure what happened out of the pits, but those two got into it. The one, Domestic Texas McCarthy, and Young RCN out of the pits just got into one another, and that about cost each other the race. But nonetheless, Young RCN managing to hold out and take care of that at number one Chevrolet. So we're going to re-rack and restack. On row one will be Dirt GBX. Row two is going to follow in with Young RCN. On the outside of him will be Young RCN, the number one. Row two is going to be the number 23 of one Domestic Texas McCarthy. And beside her will be the Rowdy and that number two machine. And the row three, number 18 of Daz will take over that spot. And in the back, I believe that was Sparkalicious, but it looks like he's actually, I think he's actually gotten overtaken a little bit. So now he is in fourth place now. The race has restarted. Green flag high in the air. Battle for fourth early as they're side by side here. Sparkalicious and number two of Rowdy going at it. Piles the throttle, trying to get that number 5 machine back in it. They're down to the last 21 laps down this stretch. Here comes Piles the throttle, trying to pull the big move from the high line to the low line. Sparky opens it up, and she gets it from him. Takes the bottom from him, and she will take over for fourth. She's going to try to make one last big jump up to the pack and try to overtake Young RCN. And one Don't Mess with Texas McCarthy with Dirt GBX leading them all the way through. Back down the turn now here into 1 and 2. The battle for second. Young RCN sees the opening. McCarthy, you can't give an opening to the number one of Young RCN. He will take you on and take you out if he has to. Here comes the bottom line now. Young RCN pulling that old slider from the bottom to the top. Can he get it to stick? It doesn't look like it's going to stick quite just enough there because McCarthy still has a bit of a run. But down on there. She will get it. Oh, but you left an opening, young RCN. Here comes the one. Don't mess with Texas. McCarthy now overtakes for second. The battle is for second here as Powell's the throttle now, trying to get every last bit of points she can to get back into the series. Try to get possibly another win in, but look at this. They're bumping, they're rubbing, they're racing. You best believe it. We're at Iowa. This is all legal. This is fun. This is great driving from these guys. Great racing from both ends of the spectrum. The one, don't mess with Texas, and the young of them all, young racing, just continuing to go at it. But the thing is, folks, we're down to the last 18 laps, and young racing out of the front straightaway, loose into the grass. He has lost it out of the turn. I'm not sure what the catalyst happened there, but it must have just been overdriving the turn. That's going to cost him big time as now Powell's the throttle will take over Young's spot there. And now Dirt GBX, even though he's got a nice little comfortable lead, you got to believe those two females right there are wanting their positions back. The two females of our sport trying to go at it one another and trying to prove they can outrace the boys. Or as I used to say, we put on the music and turn it to some loud, because right now they're playing a little bit of Beat the Boys. Because it is McCarthy and ThePottles trying to go at it here and trying to get back up in that spot. Rowdy Silva's that number 2 machine as well. He's actually made some ground up early. He's trying to overtake for third here with Powell's the throttle. A little bit of a run out of turn 4. Here comes the big one. Can he pull the slider? No, not quite yet. The Tame the Beast, number 2 Chevrolet, trying to give it everything he's got and just a little bit more to overtake these drivers. And right now, it's not quite sticking, but I should say otherwise, because it's going down the bottom, trying to overtake Powell's the throttle. Powell's going up high. Sparkalicious down that 61 Toyota Camry is going to push it up a little bit too. Here comes Sparky in that 61, getting a little bit closer and closer to these guys in the battle for third. They are side by side out of turn 2, and Powell's the throttle yet again. The turn 2 curse gets her. Unfortunately, losing it out of the turn, and that's going to cost her dearly. Number 18, Daz being passed by the number 1 of Young RCN. So now Young RCN moving up into 6th. And 5th going in Team Jangles territory right now. It's Sparkalicious and Rowdy Silvers. And 4th, as the battle for third there commences. But right now, they're all chasing this guy right here, Dirt GBX, and that number 15 Flex Seal Chevrolet, as he continues to push and dominate in the final stage. He had a rough first stage. He had a good showing in second stage, getting back from there. But then out of the final stage, he had the final run he needed to get from the outhouse back into that White House. And he is looking closer and closer to getting this win here, as we are down to the last 13 laps. You can just tell right now, look at that, look out folks, Powell's is loose again out at the back straightaway there. The car is tore up and loose as can be, unfortunately, so that's not going to be good for her. Young RCN currently just trying to find anything he can. Probably at this point, he just needs a hope and a prayer that a caution comes out or something happens, because he is not catching up to any of these guys right now. The one, don't mess with Texas, McCarthy, and she's continuing to try to push it on and push harder. And from the front straightaway down to Dirt GBX, I'm wondering if maybe she was saving her tires just a little bit to hopefully get that run later. If that's the case, that's smart thinking. But the thing is that you got to be careful those last few laps, because if you overdo it at one point, any time, oh boy, you better hope you really have a hope and a prayer, because this track will eat you alive and spin you out. But she is doing just that, trying and getting everything she can to work. But right now, Dirt GBX just continuing to run the muck, run the field, as we are down to the last 10 laps. Coming out of turn 3 into 4th. Dirt yet again getting a little bit less away from McCarthy, as McCarthy has now been pushing up forward more and more, getting closer. It seems like each time around, I'd say it's probably about a half a second. She got about 2/10 of a second off him on those few turns. And judging by our scoring here system now, folks, the trackers are indicating she is only about 0.1 seconds away now. Here comes McCarthy. She's got a bit more of a run now. McCarthy trying to get that run out of the turn 4. Trying to make it stick and trying to make it work. But right now, Dirt's still holding the bottom away from her. And she goes a little too high there. Going to lose some ground as she's going to get pushed back a little bit. And I'm not going to say what's going on with the number 5, unfortunately, but right now she's just having all sorts of problems. Strong showing early, and now everything has just gone to the waste. We're not sure what happened there, but, you know, nonetheless, it has been a great week for her. She did win at Watkins Glen in the Truck Series, and then she had, or excuse me, 2 weeks ago, she won at Watkins Glen in the Trucks, and then she goes over to Texas, wins that one, and makes the playoffs. The final spot went to her because of the win category over Oaksy in that case. So Oaksy unfortunately got bumped out and out of the spot because of that win counter for Pottles. That's why those wins do matter, and points matter crucially in this series, and it ended up giving her the run there. But then who could forget last night, she had the win on a hard fought battle in the Cup Series that she had taken on quite a few of the best drivers there. Managed to overtake at Atlanta in that number 4 machine, but now driving that 5 machine, she's just not quite catching anything there. But as I say that, here comes the battle here for first. McCarthy and that 23 gonna do war with Dirt GBX. We're down to the last 6 laps here. Dirt's loose off of turn 2. Here comes McCarthy out of the back straightaway now into the turn. Turn 3 and 4 decides it. Bumping his racing, rubbing his racing. Look at this. McCarthy and them connect, but it's gonna send her up too high. Dirt will get the run off of that. There's 4 to go in this one. Down a turn for 1 into 2. Here they go yet again. You can see that big run off of McCarthy. She's side by side with Dirt GBX out of turn 3 into 4. We're down to the last 4. This is going to be a crucial one for Dirt GBX. She needs to find another line. McCarthy has never won in the Xfinity Series. She looks to finally end that here tonight in Iowa, a track that she so dearly loves and loves to run. It's almost like her home at Texas Motor Speedway. She runs this track like it's nothing, and right now she is just continuing to push more and more forward ahead of Dirt. We're coming down to the last few laps here, down to 3. Dirt is falling behind. He needs a run, but has he wore the tires out? That could be trouble if I ever saw one. He needs to be careful of how he gets the turn. One wrong move, and that's going to cost him big time. The battle's there, and they're in the back here as we get back on the track here. A little bit of a battle here for 5th, I believe, or 6th, as Sparkalicious and that number 61 is trying to do battle with the number 2 of Rowdy, but he's got Young RCN right behind him as well, giving him a bit of a war. Dirt a little loose on the front straightaway there. That's going to cost him a little bit. Coming out of the turns here, we got a crucial ending to this one. As we come down the straightaway here, and it was all McCarthy to the end. She will take home the win at Iowa Speedway. Dirt GBX following 2nd. 3rd is going to go to, I believe, going to Rowdy Silvers. Sparkalicious in 4th, and T-Jangles rounding out your top 5 here tonight. Holy smokes, you know what? I always wanted to see my broadcaster finally get that first win Xfinity. I know I'm still aiming for it, but man, that's something you just cannot help but love to see. She worked so hard on this track, and the fact she was running a custom setup and outdid the likes of Pottles, Dirt, Young Racing, and Sparkalicious, that is something to be commended. What a race for these guys. And we're getting down to victory lane here, the PTM victory lane here to be exact. We'll get with the drivers and we're going to see the cars and talk with the stars. As we get Dirt GBX, he is now out of the car here in podium lane. Congratulations tonight on a 2nd place finish. Dirt, talk me through what happened those last few laps. You had the run, you had the lead. She caught up to you. What was the key factor to losing that one?